Glad to see you guys. You guys are fucking dangerous. Look at this guy. He's got respect for doing.
There's 4 million people coming in.
It's only a matter of time. Justice is coming.
What is the cost of lies? It's not that we'll mistake them for the truth. The real danger is that if we hear enough lies, then we no longer recognize the truth at all.
Why would I have anything to say to you? All you do is lie.
What else is left but to abandon even the hope of truth and content ourselves instead with stories?
It's the role of good journalism to take on powerful abuses. And when powerful abuses are taken on, there is always a back reaction.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans, right. You're saying that's not gain of function?
That is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially.
When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
About is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Welcome back, Habbening Bros. It's Monday, and you know what that means? It's another Habbening TV. Greetings to you all from the UKSR. I have not been arrested yet. Shocking oversight, I've got to say. I really, really hope the government sort of ups its game, right? They're busy clearing out prison spaces as we speak for malcontents. You know, I mean, look, you know, I assume that I am a large enough malcontent to warrant the loving attentions of the 77th Brigade. I mean, if not, I'm going to feel a bit let down, to be honest, bros. I always assumed that I had my own private glowy watching over me, you know, sort of ersatz substitute for religion, just sort of like lying asleep at night, feeling safe, that the glow industrial complex is watching over me, making sure, a bit like a sort of communist Santa Claus, that I don't say the wrong thing, that I'm always like, nice and not naughty, or I guess like not racist, that I don't have any troubling thoughts about mass migration or the general disarmament of the population or the imminent communist revolution gripping the country, and so I shouldn't. These are all very, very awesome things. I have been absolutely told by the mainstream media that all of these are great things. What are you like worried about, huh? Fuck me. Yes, so, yes, life in UKSR is most glorious, very, very glorious. I have had very delicious bug mash today, and only had to be in Gulag for a 3-hour racism and retraining diversity session. Commissar was very, very nice to let me go home 1 hour early after breaking both of my ankles. Very, very reasonable under the circumstances. I said a bad word. Tonight we have we've got more news. So the DNC, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, is kicking off. Very, very inconsiderate of them to host it on a Monday night instead of like contacting me and sort of delaying it until a Tuesday. Shocking behavior. So I, probably next show we'll get to like see all of the like stupid stuff going on, but there's already been like a ton of stupid stuff. Like, oh my God. This is shaping up to be one of my favorite conventions since the, what was it? The Social Democratic Party convention back before, like just before COVID, where they're like, point of personal privilege, do not use gendered language. Fuck, I really should have that clip, but I'm sure you guys like remember. If not, I'll dig it up for like next week's show. They've already had people rushing the stage. They've had like, you know, giant inflatable IUDs, you know, vasectomy buses, people dressed as contraceptive pills, walking around chanting like, no, the state can't make us procreate. I hear that it was such a clown show that the entire US supply of clown shoes was briefly interrupted in order to furnish all the people at the DNC. Delightful. So, you know, we'll be covering like that. Fuck. The UK continues to slide into better and better times. I'm just so happy to be here. I just can't wait. The UK government has basically announced that they're going to like release a whole bunch of criminals. So they've got more prison places to bang up their ideological enemies. Sorry, rioters and racists. Oh, terrible. You know, they can get off their ass to do 24-hour courts, you know, for people protesting mass migration. But, you know, when it's for, you know, rape or murder or anything, I mean, like, who cares, right? Like, you know, I mean, like most of the victims were white. So, I mean, you know, you've got to look at it that way, right? You know, the killers probably, you know, they only did it because of social and economic circumstances. It's part of their culture. They didn't understand enough English to know that rape and murder was not permitted. So, I mean, you know, really, we have no choice but to be lenient with them. So we're going to be covering that as well. And finally, I was wondering whether this was going to be a flash in the pan, so I didn't cover it for a bit. Ukraine has invaded parts of Russia. Basically Kursk. It's only a very, very small part, but, you know, the Ukrainians are basically going around sort of like causing trouble. The Russians, are very unimpressed. And you know it's a big deal because CNN is basically on the Russian border now, being like, oh yeah, like, you know, all the Ukrainians, they're pouring in like, you know, Western-funded armored vehicles and stuff like that. Nobody really knows what the ultimate aim of this is. You know, it could be, you know, they're going to like, you know, make a push for the main city of Kursk. I suspect the actual real reason is to stop any kind of peace deal happening because there are still Ukrainians who haven't been killed yet. And obviously, you know, in an attempt to sort of refurbish the country and turn it into BlackRock's new car park, you have to get rid of all of these sort of pesky people there. Or, you know, it could just be defense contractors. Oh, you know, like, who knows? So many possibilities. And that's about it. Of course, we'll have some cute animal videos for you afterwards. If you would like to, let's say have a brief look at who is in the chat. Good to see you all, bros. In the Rumble chat, we have J. Chiva Loophole, Speaker Brain Truth. Oh, you're new. Good to see you, man. Sadie Sapiente, Livia, Drusilla, Ivan the Horrible, Cthulhu Loves You. Oh, the gang's all here. Lovely to see you all, guys. Anybody else? Yes, the Eunuch, of course. I think I'm on Discord and Dragons tonight. I don't know. Yes, do you want to put it in the chat whether I'm on the lineup or not? Perhaps not. It's Schrodinger's lineup. J. Chiva Loophole, of course. Good to see you, man. I think that's everybody in Rumble chat. And Fox39 Forever, good to see you. On the YouTube chat, we have Charlie Reedy, Streaky Bacon, the Nameless One. Who else we got? Total Blackout Painting, good to see you, man. I think we, Charlie Reedy, Budgie Burger. Dawn Browning was around before. I don't know if she's come back. Thanks for coming along, guys. And in the Odyssey chat, we have Speak Your Mind. Good to see you, Speak. If you would like to donate to the channel and give me some Earth monies, that would be great. You can do it through Entropy or through Rumble Rants. Linky is in the description. Remember, Earth monies.
We need Earth monies to appear as normal Earth pigs. Mini Moose, how much have we earned?
We need Earth monies. So yes, please donate your hard-earned Earth monies to this humble streamer. Right, let's get on with it. Let's get on with the news without further ado. Let me just get the right window up here. Oh, and today's meme, of course. If you don't like the Empire, why don't you run for office and change it from the inside, Princess Leia? Yeah, man. Yeah, look. Hey, right? You want to change the Empire? Look, just get elected. change it from the inside, bros, right? Like, it'll be fine. It's not an oppressive system or anything like that. It's a democracy. As Palpatine famously said, I love democracy. Don't we all? Consular Kenneth Krieg also in Rumble Chat. Good to see you, mate. Right, let's get on with the news. And we start with a little bit of background on Heels Up Harris. Yes, now, you might think that this is an AI meme. There have been a lot of them going around, but this is actually the official election poster for Kamala's campaign. This was done by the same guy that did Obama's change poster. And of course, what does it say? Vorwärts, forward to the revolution is what that actually means, right? If you know enough about fucking communism and you're like a complete retard brain like myself, what that means is forward, progression. We're not going back. We must have the revolution. Of course, there have been some great versions of this. This is one of my favorite, knee pads. And this one, of course, communism, which, was trending for a while. That seems like a catchy name. They really are communists. Her and Waltz really are communists. I know people bandy that word around a lot, but they are basically communists, right? I mean, they're not going to call themselves that, obviously. When the Bolsheviks were trying to take over Russia, they didn't say, oh, yeah, elect us and we're going to starve everyone to death. No. They're sneakier than that. But in basic intents and purposes, they are socialists, communists. One leads to the other.
Catherine,
what the fuck's going on? Stop playing stuff. Kamala's basic sort of pitch for policy, obviously at the moment she is trying to run completely policy-free, trying to echo Joe Biden's campaign of just sort of hiding in a basement and just, so it's a two-pronged thing. Number one, she's trying to pretend that she's not part of the administration that's fucked everything up. So she's like trying to basically pretend that she's like a newcomer, vote for me and I'll change all of these things. Yeah, you didn't change any of them while you were actually in the administration. Why should we trust you to change them now? Well, in clear, obvious Bolshevik fashion, she's like, well, shut up, just vote for me and find out. Her one policy so far basically is price controls on food. Very, very Venezuelan of her. Even CNN was like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, bro. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Mate, when you've lost CNN, you know things are going wrong. Like, check it out.
Catherine, I read your piece and I heard you just mention it. The federal ban on price gouging for groceries. You are skeptical of this. Why?
Well, first of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. It's like that old line about pornography. I know it when I see it, in the sense that what does it mean to have an excessive price? Or
now look, see, if this CNN host, right, had studied as much fucking communism as me, she would be able to tell you what it means. I'll tell you what fucking price gouging means. Price gouging means anyone selling anything above the sort of recommended price, which is a sort of central part of a centrally planned economy, and it is a way to blame and then repossess all of the productive parts of an economy, weld them onto the state until you have like basically, a centrally planned economy. Don't worry guys, it's going to work this time. We've got mobile phones and AI. I don't know how they're expecting to run any of this with diversity hires, but look, don't worry about it, bros. It makes a lot of sense if you don't think about it. Did you saw Kamala called it price gagging? Bruh. Dude.
Or an excessive profit margin. That seems to be shorthand for a price or a profit margin that bugs me. That seems too high. So, it's very hard to pin down what this would actually mean. If you look at the legislation that, as I mentioned, is already in the Senate, led by Senator Warren and Senator Bob Casey and a slew of others, the particular way that this is written, which is likely to be the template for any proposal that Harris would eventually embrace, is especially bad in that it just bans excessive prices, grossly excessive prices, grossly excessive profit margins, and says that the Federal Trade Commission can use any metric it deems appropriate to decide what that would mean.
Now, this is why, right, like shit like this is why they are Bolsheviks, right? So they're like, you can use any metric you want, right? Like, so again, right, there will be no centrally standard metric. If you are a friend of the regime, your business will go untouched. If you're an enemy of the regime, your business will be destroyed. That's the way it goes, bros.
Which basically says, like, it's not going to be markets, it's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all, for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan.
She still doesn't know. They don't know. They don't know that they literally have communists on the US presidential ticket, mate. I mean, you know, look, I love you, Burger Bros, but like honestly, you know, the boomers are like, but we defeated communism. No, you didn't. You can't defeat an idea. You let it in, right, through the problematic ideas of liberalism, and now fucking mushrooms of communism are fruiting all over the world. And you're like, no, it's not communism, right? We used a different word this time. Yeah, well, you do that, don't you? That's like one of the hallmarks of the communists. They always distort the language. God fucking damn it.
But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets. You know, plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices because of some of the other language in it. Things like requiring companies, public companies, to disclose in their quarterly reports, their quarterly earnings reports, how they're setting prices, which is a great way to help them collude, which normally we don't want them to do. So anyway, you know, the devil's in the details, I guess, for that bill, but it's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, you know, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
Yeah, but that's what they want, right? You know, they're going for the destabilization speedrun, bros. Now, I mean, this is a pretty good tweet. I find it interesting that most of the pundits criticizing VP Kamala Harris's economic plans don't have economic degrees on background. Ew. Turns out, bros, you need an economics degree in order to understand that a centrally planned economy doesn't work. Oh, yes, you need to do 8 years of university and write a 60,000 word PhD in order to understand that the USSR was a shithole. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. The person with a degree in economics, Kamala Harris. Well, if Kamala Harris has a fucking degree in economics, that does not say good things about the US academic system, is all I'm going to say. And this guy replying, so you're saying she actually knows that price controls don't work, but is doing it anyway to get votes from people that know less than she does. That's even worse. Correct. Ding, ding, ding. Mr. Elton. It's the Bolshevik way. It's the Bolshevik way, bros. Now, at the same time, there's been a bunch of shit going around, basically claiming that Harris has a drinking problem, you know, or possibly pills. To my expert eye, this looks like something on the GABA axis. So, you know, not weed, not opiates, some kind of, you know, alcohol or benzos or something like that. I would be willing to bet, you know, alcohol or possibly a mix of both. You know what I mean? Check this out.
Because when we think about the strength of our democracy, you know, I think that there's a duality to the nature of democracy. When it's intact, oh, it's so strong in terms of...
Oh, it's so strong. Oh, the way she's like doing this. Oh, it's so strong. She's like jerking off the economy. Fucking hell.
What it does to uphold and protect individual rights and freedoms. So strong in its nature. And it is very fragile. It will only be as strong as our willingness to fight for it.
So it's simultaneously very strong, but also incredibly fragile, like your state of mind. I don't know, right? So, I mean, not only is, you know, she just saying a complete word salad, people have become sort of used to that by now, but she is looking like she's basically drunk. However, she did actually manage to answer one question, right? I'm playing this because this is really impressive. I've never seen her actually answer a question with any kind of specifics before. I don't know whether this was like her dry day. I mean, the policies are probably retarded, but at least she did answer a question. Check it out.
Economic policies last week. Yeah. Can you explain how you're going to pay for those? And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. When we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits, and it pays for itself in that way.
Now, this was a crap answer, but at least it was an answer. Now, basically what she's saying is that the government will pay for everything. It will be the government that will invest in communities of color, obviously, is what she means, right? She doesn't mean white communities. They can all go fuck off. She means communities, right? In the same way that Keir Starmer means communities, right? You know, my blacks and my browns and my Native Americans and minorities and my gays and my trans, like communities, right? You know, affinity groups. So, I mean, yeah, that's, and of course the question was, how are you going to pay for it? And she basically said, oh, well, look, if we spend all this money, it will like grow the tax base. It'll grow tax ownership, you know, home ownership, pardon me. But the US, like the UK, is still letting in infinity migrants. So how that's supposed to like increase home ownership? Well, of course, it's the Bolshevik way. Sooner or later, those who own their homes will be called kulaks if they are from the wrong race. This is like the race communism thing. You just take out class and you insert race. And the white kulaks will be asked to give up their property to the poor blacks and browns. Now, the DNC is voting tonight on the Democratic Party platform. Here it is, the 24 Democratic Party platform. It starts with a goddamn land acknowledgement. Oh, God. A terrible, terrible thing that started in Australia and seems to have, like, you know, gone over to the US. And basically, they're still using, like, an old version that they whipped up when Biden was still in power, because it keeps referring to Biden's second term, you know, oh, in Biden's second term. So they didn't even revise the document. Now, again, this is classic Bolshevik thing. They don't care, right? They're not going to obey any of their promises. They'll just say anything, right? Because they're Bolsheviks, right? They know absolutely well that if they just come out and say, oh yeah, we're going to make everybody poor, we're going to like import like infinity more migrants, we're going to like start a civil war and all this kind of like other stuff, no one's going to vote for that. So they just say anything. That's why none of their policies need to make sense. That's why they can promise whatever. It's just important that they get into power. Now, there's also been widespread sort of protest activity regarding the DNC. Allegedly, this is Tony Segura. He's like part of this sort of thing. They do like mobile phone device searches. Apparently in the US, a lot of this data is public, so you can just like do these mass searches. According to him, there are now 61,000 foreign Antifa and over 27,000 domestic Antifa in the Chicago area. So the way they determine this is that the device in question was present at 3 or more Antifa protests or riots. The average Antifa soldier comes from a white, wealthy, globalist elite families based in Europe and the US. The 1% of the 1%, most from straight-up globalist families. I wonder what would happen if they overlaid that with synagogues. Yeah, that's probably racist to say. 154 of these devices linked to 10 or more Antifa protest riots have also visited keycard-required FBI or Department of Justice parking garages in Washington, D.C. in the past 6 months. Additionally, 9 were also present at 2 or more Patriot Front marches. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. They don't play both sides. What are you, some kind of fucking conspiracy theorist? Now, Chicago, the city, unlike with BLM, they are absolutely bringing in like tons of police. They probably got the National Guard on speakerphone. They know it's going to be a shit show. And of course, everyone wants to prevent a reoccurrence of what happened in 1968 at the Democrat convention there, when it all went like absolutely crazy. Funnily enough, I don't know whether they've got like a brain aneurysm or something. It seems that when it comes to their safety, they suddenly remember that borders and walls are a thing that work. I don't understand how that works, honestly.
If you look behind me over my shoulder, you'll notice those fences and snowplows in place. We've actually watched all morning as they have started to bring in more metal fencing, more barricades, and these snowplows have been kind of navigating around those barricades and getting into place around the UC. Take a look at some of this video we got earlier this morning. You can see a lot of cars have been turning around already as they're met with these new closures that have been set in place overnight and early this morning.
I love democracy. Like, I wish I was going to the convention, but for the neighborhood, there's been like no communication and very little engagement of the people who are closest to it.
I love the Bolsheviks very, very much, but I wish the tyrannical wannabe communist government would just communicate with the local community a little bit more. As a man made of 95% soy, I love democracy, and when the Bolsheviks get into power and institute democratic centralism, I will be on the front lines, bros.
The parking restrictions have changed 3 times in the last week on our block, and no one's like communicated to us that the protest route actually goes right in front of our building.
No one cares. No one gives a fuck about you, Senor Soy, right? Like you are like the last person they give a shit about. Imagine thinking the Bolsheviks care about you. Oh my god, dude. Tasia, in the Odyssey chat, a bio-Leninist. Correct, sir. Correct. Spiteful mutants are in control, bro.
And that resident telling us that most of the information he's gotten actually is coming from us or other local news outlets. He says his hopes are that over the next few days, there's more direct communication from area law enforcement or even from the Secret Service. And really his concerns, Mugo Adrina, have been echoed by a lot of drivers and neighbors we've talked to in this area this morning. A lot of frustrated drivers, to say the least. We know security will just continue to get tighter as we approach opening day on Monday.
Oh, wow. Bolsheviks don't care about you. Imagine my shock. Now, man, this is the kind of like clown shoes that have been processing. This is a giant IUD, a giant blow-up intrauterine device, because you know how much the Democrats are into abortion. This is a real thing. This is a real thing. A giant blow-up IUD, right? It's going to be at the Democratic National Convention. They will also have free vasectomies and abortions at a mobile bus in Chicago. Apparently, it's already highly oversubscribed. All the soy boys lining up to, you know, get the snip. If anyone's going to get their wife pregnant, it's going to be her boyfriend and not him, obviously. Fucking hell. Oh my god, this is just so weird. But this is the greatest thing of all. This is a bunch of protesters, women, of course, dressed up as abortion pills, marching around Chicago. You know, I'm increasingly coming to the conclusion that the best way to spot the communists is just the smug, right? They've all got that like smugly kind of like you don't even know the revolution's on. We're so right. When the revolution comes, you're gonna be against the wall. But this, this is also great. Yes, fuck the courts, fuck the state. You can't make us procreate. Now, I gotta say, I don't think any of these women are in any danger of procreating anytime soon. You know, but like, you know, I guess you hang on to, you know, what you can in life. And not only that, the Democratic Convention will be explicitly racist. I mean, new racism, obviously, right? So, you know, if you turn up at 9:30 a.m. This morning, you've got the Black Caucus, the Hispanic Caucus, the AAPI Caucus, I don't know what that means, the Native American Caucus, and the Ethnic Council. No whites allowed, no whites allowed, no whites allowed. If you are white, please do not turn up at the convention center until after 11:30, and please use the back door. It's already been a bit of a clown show inside the convention as well. They haven't even started speaking, and they've already had someone like rush the stage. Check it out.
Y'all can do better than that. Mike Devani! 150,000 people are dead. You are working on genocide. The Harris administration keeps on money to India.
Go on, get off the stage. Proper pictures in the Rumble chat. Good to see you, man. Get, come on, get. Stop talking about fucking Palestine. Get here. So, I presume there's going to be like more shit going down. It's like what 2:30 in the afternoon now in Chicago. Or wait, maybe is Chicago on Eastern time? Any of the Burger Bros want to like tell me what the time is in Chicago right now? Anyway, I'll be watching. I'll be probably covering the retardedness on Thursday's show. Enjoy. Right, so on to our second story. Turns out in the UK, they're out of jail spaces. Don't worry, though. Don't worry. We wouldn't want to give white people the wrong idea. Think they can start getting uppity just because we have filled the jails with criminals and not built any more jails whilst increasing the population massively. Who could have seen that coming, bros? I certainly could have. You would have needed a very, very large brain to know that if you increase the population of the UK by about 20% and didn't build any more jails, and you imported a lot of these people from areas where like certain kinds of crime are very high, surely no one could have seen that, right? Police can't arrest criminals if jails are full of rioters, warns the union. Presume this is the prison officers? Yeah, prison officers union. Operation Early Dawn, which stops suspects from being moved to court, will be triggered this week. Now, this is from yesterday. And they're like, oh, they might trigger Operation Early Dawn. Sounds like a Chuck Norris movie, doesn't it? Operation Early Dawn. When the communists come into the UK, only Chuck Norris can stop them by shooting them in the face, Chuck Norris style. Or perhaps Jason Statham comes to the UK for Operation Early Dawn. He's there to shoot the communists in the face, London style. The West End, he gets up to Westminster. Operation Early Dawn. And of course, surprise, the next day, Operation Early Dawn, I'm Jason Statham, was indeed triggered. Check it out, bros.
We will guarantee a prison cell. We will make sure that those people who need to be in prison will be in prison. Not necessarily in the area where they live. They may be 200-300 miles away from home, but we will guarantee people a prison cell.
So basically what they're saying there is that in order to make sure to reduce community cohesion further, they will be taking people that are arrested in the north and primarily white parts of the country and shipping them hundreds of miles away to do their prison sentence, so they will have no contact with friends or family at all. Good thing that's not like some kind of like, actual policy or, someone might get angry,
With the numbers are so tight, how can you make that guarantee?
They are tight, and that's why we've initiated Operation Early Dawn. So basically, the easiest way to describe it is 1 in, 1 out. So as people get released, we can then pick up people from police cells and take them to court, and we will triage that 3 times a day. We will guarantee a prison cell.
So yes, so basically, the more politicals they arrest, the more criminals they will have to let out the back door. Jailed riders may trigger prison overcrowding plan. Yeah, it's already been triggered. Thanks very, very much. Now, just to give you an idea of how bad shit is in the UK, this is from the Law Society. This is from earlier this year. It's not just the prisons that have been completely overwhelmed in the UK. Figures published by the Ministry of Justice on the 28th of March show that the Crown Court backlog has reached 67,573 cases by the end of December 2023. So these aren't even the current numbers. This is from December last year, 8% higher than a year before. 18,000 of these Crown Court cases have been outstanding for a year or more, including 6,500 which have been outstanding for 2 years or more. I thought justice delayed was justice denied. Oh my God. The Magistrates Court backlog increased by 7% on the previous quarter to 370,000 cases by December of 2023. So, if oh my God. So if you get arrested, you're gonna be waiting 2, maybe 3 years before you ever see a judge, right? And most of the time, unless you're a political, they just let you out on bail. And then probably by the time, you've got there, they can say, oh, well, the person's been on bail for 3 years, blah, 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 blah. The backlog figures show the depth of the crisis our criminal justice system is in. Well, maybe you shouldn't have passed all these fucking laws like criminalizing stuff like speech and stuck to things like actual crimes. No, too hard. The courtrooms themselves are crumbling and adding to the delays. There aren't enough judges and lawyers to cover the cases. Well, I wonder if this has anything to do with the fact that, as far as I can tell, judges and lawyers are now a highly politicized profession, right? You're not going to get, to be like a judge or a lawyer if you're in any way right-wing. So they basically got a shortage of politically active lawyers and judges. Pay and conditions to work in the system are unattractive and court staff are undermanned and under pressure. Eligible people can't access legal aid because changes to the means test have been delayed. Prisons are overcrowded with inmates being released early to free up space. The UK government's own unambitious target of reducing the Crown Court backlog to 53,000 by March 2025 is looking improbable, and faith in our criminal justice system understandably continues to erode. Only increased and sustained funding can stop the ongoing collapse of our criminal justice system. Well, why would they want to do that, right? Now, at the same time as this has happened, they are adding more and more laws that you can get done for. This is Yvette Cooper, or Yvette Balls, actually, to give her full name. She's married to Ed Balls. I think Yvette Balls is a far funnier name, so I'm going to start calling you that instead. Violence against women considered for the first time under government counter-extremism plans. The Home Secretary orders review of counter-extremism strategy to tackle violence against women and girls. If you're a man, no one gives a shit, right? Men and boys, not so much. No one really cares, but women and girls, oh my God, right? Extreme misogyny will be considered for the first time under government plans to combat the radicalization of young men online. This probably basically means that if you like Andrew Tate, you can get hauled in front of Prevent, which is the UK's anti-radicalization service. As far as I can tell, all Prevent has ever done is radicalize people more. All the stories I have heard from Prevent suggest that it has entirely the opposite effect of what it is supposed to do. This will mean teachers will be legally required to refer pupils they suspect of extreme misogyny to Prevent, the government's counter-terror program. This comes after warnings that misogynistic influences are radicalizing teenage boys online. They mean Andrew Tate, basically, right? Excuse me. For too long, governments have failed to address the rise in extremism, both online and on our streets, and we've seen the number of young people radicalized online grow. Hateful incitement of all kinds fractures and frays the very fabric of our communities and our democracy. Oh, Have they even considered actually fixing the shit that is radicalizing people? Nah, too hard. Just lock them up. There are several extremism categories ranked by the Home Office as an area of concern. including Islamist, extreme far right, animal rights, environmental, and Northern Ireland related extremism. Now, I think the Islamist is actually the most important. They're going to arrest a few right wingers as well, so they can't be accused of racism. But it's very, very clear that in terms of actual radicalization, it's the Muslims outpace everybody else by like a large clip. There's also a category for incels. Teachers, healthcare professionals, and local authority staff are under a legal duty to make a referral to the Prevent scheme if they believe someone is susceptible to becoming radicalized. Well, that's a really, really good way to stop people from seeking any kind of help, isn't it? Right? Why are you going to want to go and talk to your school counselor if he might refer you to Prevent because you've got naughty opinions? So again, this is just going to radicalize people further. There were nearly 7,000 Prevent referrals, 2022-23. The most broad category being vulnerability present, but no ideology of counterterrorism risk at 37%, followed by extreme right wing at 19% and Islamist extremism at 11%. And this is basically because of the Shawcross report, which was a report into Prevent that came out a couple of years ago that basically said that, according to people I know, Prevent has basically been infected by radical Islamists. Weirdly enough, if you want to work for Prevent, you yourself don't have to pass an extremism test. So a whole bunch of radical Islamists are now working for Prevent, and they then told Prevent, oh, no, look, you shouldn't be looking at radical Islam, right? How about you look at the far right? And, and obviously because they can't be called racist for locking up, whites, they then sort of decided to start going after people for I don't like mass immigration, or I read Lord of the Rings. Yeah, look, if you doubt me on this, check out the Shawcross report. It's crazy. Their definition of what makes you a right winger is absolutely clown shoes. No. Yeah, many sex abusers, influencers accused of radicalizing boys. New counter-extremism strategy. Well, this is going to require more prison places, isn't it? Where are you going to get them from? At the same time as this is happening, it turns out that immigration is now the largest concern on the entire UK voter base, edging ahead of the shocking state of the National Health Service, edging ahead of the economy, edging ahead of law and order and inflation, to be 34% of people saying it is the thing they are most concerned about. I've seen this 34% number in a couple of other polls. Basically, about 34% of the population really need to be de-radicalized or possibly put in jail. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. And at the same time as this is going on, the British Muslims, having taken literally a page from the Jews in this extent, and I'm not being in any way hyperbolic, right? This is the all-party parliamentary group on British Muslims, and they want a definition of Islamophobia that will be a pair to the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. And it is literally the IHRA definition. They have just retooled it for Islam. If you look at them side by side, it's got exactly the same structure. They've just retooled it, and it's quite funny the stuff that they want banned. Most importantly, the thing that they want banned is conspiracies about Muslim entryism into politics. Ooh, they want that banned. Government or other social institutions. The myth of Muslim identity having a unique propensity for terrorism. And claims of a demographic threat posed by Muslims or of a Muslim takeover. So there you go. All of those things are completely untrue. And if you say it, you be racist, bro. Right. So our final story for tonight. So Ukrainians basically have invaded Kursk. Wait, hang on a second. I've got a map here. Right. So this is Ukraine, as you can see. Russia is on the east there. This is Kursk Oblast. As you can see, it's very oblasty. And this is the area northeast of Sumy that the Ukrainians have invaded. Now, I thought this might just be a bit of a flash in the pan, which is one of the reasons why when it kicked off, I didn't really cover it. I thought, it's going to be over in a couple of days, bros. But it turns out it's not. Ukraine has destroyed a bunch of bridges, allowing the Russians to get into Kursk, and the Ukrainians have been going around basically like making trouble, looting shops, and generally being a sort of massive nuisance. The Russians have evacuated about 120,000 people, and they are very, very annoyed. The Russians, of course, are calling it terrorism and an attack on the civilian population, to which the Ukrainians are going, you said the thing. Doesn't feel so good now when it's on the other foot, does it, motherfuckers? And I mean, you know, I guess they kind of got a point. The Ukraine's military has said that the targeted attacks are intended to disrupt Russian supply lines and make Russian troop and armory movement much more difficult. So yes, they're blowing up bridges. They're doing all kinds of like stuff. If you look, the actual front line is down here, as you can see, where all the red dots are. That was like the basic sort of front line. There had been some attacks on Belgorod Oblast in the north, but it was sort of basically assumed that Bryansk and Kursk were sort of, you know, not going to be attacked. And in a stunning move, the Ukrainians have crossed the border and are messing shit up. Boris Johnson, of course, never seen a war that he doesn't like. You know, very, very big fan of the dead Ukrainians, has said after a week of tactical brilliance, Ukraine can finally end this war. How? Like, just, fucking Boris. The Ukrainian counterattack continues. For those of us who love Ukraine and passionately want Ukrainians to be free, the last few days have been exciting. The best news for a long time. I haven't been able to use my Boris Johnson accent for like a while, man. This lightning dash to Kursk reminds us of a key truth. From the very beginning, we have always underestimated the Ukrainians. We have chronically underestimated their sheer fury at the Russian invader, the deep yearning in the Ukrainian chest to drive Putin's forces from every inch of Ukrainian soil. So, out of pity, can we give the Ukrainians the tools they really need to finish the job? And by that, I mean given proper permission to use the tools we have already given. So, basically start a wider war, is what he's talking about. Zelensky's come out and said that Ukraine is creating a buffer zone in Russia to prevent attacks, which of course is an invert of the language that Putin was using, saying that he wanted to create a DMZ zone so the Ukrainians couldn't attack them. Same kind of like, now the shoe's on the other on the other foot. Fuck yeah, fuck you. Now you know shit is bad because CNN is literally there, right? Like, mate, check this out.
It's startling to see the steady flow of military vehicles, that probably an ambulance, and armour just passing through the Russian border point here. That is the border post that clearly got heavily hit when Ukraine moved in hard over a week ago. Russia's borders here completely undefended. It's also remarkable the freedom with which the Ukrainian military are moving around here. They simply aren't afraid of the drones that have hampered their every move for the past months. That says the border service of the FSB, the Russian security services of Russia. There's a bullet hole above the rules and bullet holes in the rules themselves. Now this is what's so startling about this offensive, the volume of Western supplied armour that we're seeing passing back and forth. Their passage through here up into Russia, unimpeded entirely. That Rochelle from Canada. Ожидал?
Мы нет, не ожидали такого. Є певна задача, ми її виконуємо, не більше, не менше. А фінальний результат ніхто поки нічого не має.
Just saying about how frequently they've been going back and forth over the last week or so. And you get a real sense of the euphoria. But ultimately too, the enduring question is, what is all this for? What is the end game? Yes, it's a huge embarrassment for Vladimir Putin, but they're sending some of their best equipment deep into Russia. And I'm sure in the back of the minds of these troops is the question of what ultimately are we going to achieve? And we still don't know the answer to that.
Now, again, I would dispute that this is deep into Russia. Okay, right? Just to give you an idea, I can't even zoom out any further. Right? This is Russia, right? This is allegedly deep into Russia. I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like that's not what I would describe as deep into Russia, right? If you got to like, you know, I don't know, if you got to Moscow, that would be deep into Russia. But you know, this looks like, you know, it's a tiny a pimple into Russia. The Ukrainians are probably just looting shit, to be perfectly honest. Kursk doesn't really have like a lot. I mean, it does have some historical sort of like stuff. I think Livia was talking about the Battle of the Bulge and the Battle of Kursk, and it was like a big deal in World War II. There could be some, you know, for people who are still like really into World War II, you know, the Second Battle of Kursk, blah, 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 for the Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk Oblast Sea. So, you know, even on Wikipedia, they're like, the Second Battle of Kursk. However, the most likely reason, in my opinion, why they are doing this, apart from possibly like looting for supplies and, you know, and just generally sort of like giving the Russians a hard time, is probably to make sure that there is no peace deal, which is very, very important.
Теперь ни о каких мирных переговорах с этим режимом речи быть не может.
Президент об этом очень четко сказал, что после того, как начались нападения на Курскую область, даже не нападение, а вторжение на территорию Курской области, ни о каких переговорах речи быть не может. И еще президент сказал очень важную фразу, на которую я хотел бы обратить внимание, что мы, безусловно, дадим оценку этой ситуации чуть попозже. Вот. Ну а появившиеся в последнее время слухи о неких скрытых контактах для подготовки переговоров по вопросам энергообъектов России и Украины при посредничестве Катара. Были еще слухи, что турецкие наши соседи планируют как-то попытаться посредничать в сфере продовольственной безопасности, но в контексте обеспечения свободы мореплавания в Черном море, сами понимаете, какая цель у подобного рода задумок может быть. Все это делается в развитии Бюргенштокской конференции, на которой было решено создать 3 рабочие группы по энергетике, по продовольствию в связи с морской безопасностью и по гуманитарным вопросам, обмен пленными и так далее. Эти 3 рабочие группы созданы, готовятся их заседания, и кто бы что ни говорил о неких намеках на то, что Россию как-то туда будут привлекать, это все от лукавого, потому что, еще раз скажу, речь идет о неприемлемом для нас Бюргенштокском процессе, который имеет единственной целью продвигать ультиматум под названием «Формула Зеленского».
Последний вопрос. Оценка будет дана, а каким может быть ответ?
Ну, знаете, вы задаете мне вопрос, который находится в компетенции Верховного Главнокомандующего.
Right, so basically any kind of peace talks have now been stalled and will essentially be stalled. There are also reports that the Ukrainians are trying to basically kidnap anyone Russian in order to like trade their soldiers back, you know what I mean? Which is like one of the features of war. So I'll keep an eye on this, but at the moment it looks like, you know, the West is just sort of like bigging this up, you know, making it like a sort of like, you know, incredible like push through by the Ukrainians. I don't know. You know, look, there are some other possible strategic things. It could draw troops off the front in places like Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. I don't really know. I'm not privy to the Ukrainians' strategy on any of this. Someone made a really, really good comment. Crispy13, we've claimed 2.5 cabbage fields. The momentum is ours, comrade. Yes. Seize those cabbages for the motherland, boys. Yeah, exactly. Right, so that's the end of the news. We finished a bit early today. That's fine. It is time, bros, for some cringe. You know what time it is. Now all of China knows that I have posted cringe, and they know that you have watched me posting cringe. So, you know, what's your social credit score, bros? Now, let's see, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is, but it must be cringe because it's in my cringe folder. Enjoy.
You're not God, not a He's not your enemy. He's not your enemy. God is not your enemy. God loves you. God loves you. God loves you. You can be set free from that deal. I know you think you have to do this, but you don't have to do this. Just come home. Come home to God. Come home. Come back. Come back. God is gay. 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 It's just you. God is gay. It's just you. God is gay. God is gay. God is gay. Whatever society you go in,
Jesus fuck, dude. The guy just being like, look, listen, brother, like, you know, calm down. It's like, oh my God. Evil Author 1776, good to see you, man. And Simon JJ, frequent contributor to the show. Good to see you, Simon. Thanks for coming along. I don't know where that is, but that was freaking hilarious. Mark Hamill is back. Mate, every single time this guy opens his mouth, it is just the cringiest of the cringe. I can't. He's at the DNC, of course. You know, he still thinks he's in Star Wars, fighting the evil empire. I mean, oh, dude, fucking seriously.
Mark Hamill here with the head of the DNC, Mr. Jamie Harris. Listen, Mark, you got an important election coming up in November. Yes. You got a message for everybody out there? Well, in the movies, I fought against make-believe evil. But we're at a time in our history where we're fighting against real evil. So I beg you, please, don't go to the orange side. Mark Hamill here.
Oh, dude. Oh, that just gave me brain cancer. Holy shit. Oh, if I had any idea how bad this shit would get. Consolidates Krieg, Luke DEI Walker. Embrace the dark side of the diversity. Now, this is a bit cringy, but this is also like quite interesting. Enjoy.
Are you a struggling actor looking for your next big break? Or perhaps looking for a reason to practice your regional southern accents that you've been working on? Well, the DNC has a role for you. Now, they're not looking for actors, but they will pay you per diem, pay for meals and expenses, and fly you out, cover all travel as well. Now, for this non-role role, you will be an authentic Democrat supporter. Doesn't that sound lovely? Now, my favorite part about this is that they're super encouraging regional accents, regional southern accents, because they want the authenticity to show through, because nothing says authentic like being paid for your supporters. But these things are everywhere, and so many people are talking about them because this whole AstroTurf movement that has been the Kamala HQ, Brat Girl Summer, Coconut Pill thing that's blown up since the attempt on 45, the only reason that's been happening is because the publicity in the press post attempt on 45 was too positive. They needed to switch the narrative and take back control of the narrative, and they did. They did a wonderful job doing that. But it is AstroTurf. It is absolutely AstroTurf. This literally could be your inbox right now, but you're playing and not letting your authentic love for Kamala Harris and the Democrats shine through in your likely Oscar-worthy performance. Like, forget just the Oscars. You want a Tony, you want an EGOT. You deserve all of them. Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Give it to them. Seriously. If I was a struggling actor, I might have to hit this up. It's just wild to me that one candidate can fill up stadiums and probably could charge a cover and people would still show up, while the other one literally has to fly you out, pay for all your meals just for you to exist in a context with her. My God.
So, yes, very annoying speaker, but very interesting message. This is, oh my God, this is Chelsea Handler. Apparently she used to be like a somebody. Enjoy, I say.
This is a
day in the life of having a female president. I wake up as early as possible, and in honor of our new president, I strap on my coconut bra. Then I go out to my garage, put a piece of glass on the ceiling, and smash it with a hammer, just to remind myself how great things are. I text my nieces and tell them not to worry, that a bunch of creepy Republican men aren't keeping a chart of their menstrual cycle. Our Pikachus are protected again. I volunteer as a crossing guard at the local middle school, not only to ensure students can safely cross the street, but also to keep an eye out for Matt Gaetz. I then go to my book club where we're reading every book banned by Florida. Next, I have a little dance party to my new favorite song, the J.D. Vance I'm a Never Trump Guy. Because I no longer have to worry about my rights being taken away, I decide to take Doug on a quick trip to outer space so he can go for a walk on the moon. And don't worry, we get there safely because Elon Musk didn't make our spaceship. At the end of the day, I pop my favorite edible and close my eyes knowing Trump is a distant memory who now lives in a prison full-throating all his new boyfriends. And I sleep like a fucking baby. And that's a day in the life of having a female president.
Holy shit. I just got super duper mega syphilides from that one, bros. Oh, I don't want to see her like manky chest. Oh, gross. Ugh, ew. I think this is. Wait, is this like a? I don't know. I don't know what this is. Something, Kamala.
First, let me just say, I strongly believe and take very seriously that we must acknowledge that the government of the United States stole land. Took land from the tribes, and that there must be a restoration of that ownership for those lands that were possessed by the tribes. So that is a value I hold very dearly and very strongly. First, let me just say
So they're going to shift to the American Indian thing, presumably confiscate a bunch of land, and then, I don't know, give it to anyone non-white. Worked really well in South Africa and Rhodesia, so, you know. This is funny and also cringe. Enjoy.
Literally had a guy who was on my show for a few episodes. I heard him on his mic saying, I hate this job. I cannot wait to be back on a show where there's a man at the helm. I literally heard it
That's insane.
on a mic. So I was like, I didn't even know this happened anymore. Like, I thought he'd just be like subtly weird. And then that same guy later came up to me at lunch and said, you're really enjoying that buffet, aren't you? No, who the fuck is that? I'll tell you afterwards, worst person alive.
Literally worst person alive for not wanting to work with these crazy bitches. Oh my god. Now we have something based. Here is Australian politician Pauline Hanson going off about the vaccine. Everyone is supposed to have like just forgotten about it, you know, just, like don't worry about it. But you know, God bless old Pauline. She's still banging on about it.
So these people that have had this vaccine, I'm sorry to tell you, you've compromised your body. You have compromised your health. And one cardiologist said, by having the jab, you've compromised your heart 100%. So this is what the government has done to you. This is what the bureaucrats have done to you. You led like sheep to the slaughter. You were led like sheep to the slaughter over having this vaccination against your will. If you wanted to have the vaccine, that was your choice. But when people were forced and they lost their jobs because they had to have the vaccine, that's what I'm angry about. That's what needs to be exposed here. People's liberty and their rights were stripped from them. I said at the beginning of the vaccine rollout that I would not put that shit into my body. So did many other Australians. But they had no choice. It turns out they were definitely onto something. Refusing the mandates may have saved their life. It's numerous health issues. I'm pulled up usually all the time that people now have health issues. They had the vaccine. I said, don't have any more. An inquiry that we had, that One Nation got up and had Pfizer and Moderna there, who said, oh no one was forced. What a load of rubbish. And why did the government indemnify these pharmaceutical companies? Why were they indemnified? Here we were giving vaccinations to people that were some tried, tested, and proven. I keep saying that. It was only about 10 months prior to that. Any vaccinations that are given to people usually goes through a period of 8, maybe 10, 18 years that needs to be properly tested. And yet this was not properly tested. A batch of this stuff actually killed people. I am going to keep going on and on and on about this until I'm a pain in the backside, which I don't care. Until the people get answers and the people get a Royal Commission into this. I may not have the balance of power this time around, but I hope the people vote for One Nation in the next election, that we get the balance of power, because we will use that balance of power to force a Royal Commission for the people to have their say. So these people that have...
I'm not usually a fan of female politicians, but I will make an exception for Pauline Hanson. You go, girl. We also have a super chat. Simon JJ, keep up the good work. News Fist for $15. Thank you very much, Simon. I really, really appreciate it, mate. Have some confetti of colour. It's highly diverse confetti. Cheers, mate. Right. What else have we got? Let me see. Oh, we got some like funny stuff now. This is just weird, man. Like AI is doing some crazy stuff. It's a love story for the ages, bros. Reaching across the aisle to make a little mini Trump. Sadie Sapienti sent me this. This is freaking awesome. Check it out.
Right now, I'm on my way to the hospital. I got get a couple tests done. Monkeypox shit is real, y'all. It's real. It's real. That's all I can say. Now, yo, take care of yourselves, you hear me? Like, this shit is no joke. It's no joke.
Shit, I hope you get better with your monkeypox, brother. Oh, and this is more just AI weirdness. Enjoy.
Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Dance with the vibes get loose, I hit the floor directed to the roof. Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Dance with the vibes get loose, I hit the floor directed to the roof. Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Dance with the vibes get loose, I hit the floor directed to the roof. Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Dance with the vibes get loose, I hit the floor directed to the roof. Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Cool, kick the nation with the grooves, then we rock the place when the bass gets smooth. Dance with the vibes get loose.
Man, that's pretty amazing. I don't know how they're doing that stuff, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Right, on to cute animals now. Don't worry, you can soothe yourself from the cringe. I have a bunch of very, very cute animals for you. Thank you very much to Sadie Sapiente for sending me most of these. It's awesome.
Patients, call USA Vein Clinics to schedule your consultation with one of our eating vascular specialists. 347-894-5005.
It's time for Daily Chat, brought to you by Bigelow Benefits Team. Bigelow Benefits, redefining wellness every day. On today's category, New York City. This music hall.
Gosh, Jesus! What you doing there? Oh, dude. This is adorable.
This is what it's like trying to get our husky to come home with us when it's time to leave. Blue, can we go home? Blue, can we go home, please?
Every time. To go home. No more swimming, okay?
no.
The one way we're getting you out of here. Go home.
Blue, no. Blue, we have to go home. Blue.
We're done. We're going all the way to the car this time. No chance for you to go back in the pool.
Time to go home, Blue.
Aww. Have you ever seen giraffe cleaning its smaller giraffe? Check it out. Aww. And this is just really cute. Aww. And this is really cute as well. So cute. And Hayes Reviews in the Rumble chat. Good to see you, man. Good evening. What did I miss? Is the world still going to shit? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm afraid so. You can catch it on repeat, mate. According to experts, you should never eat an entire banana by yourself, bros. I was not aware of this. Fortunately, it has been fact-checked.
According to experts, you should never eat an entire banana by yourself.
Oh, now that is an expert I would trust, right? This is really funny too. Check this out. Now that is a sneaky kitty. Right, just a couple more to go. Oh, this is so heckin' wholesome, bros. Aww. And this is really cute as well. Tiny horse. Aww. And that's the end of the show, bros. We're finishing a bit earlier tonight. I don't know why. You know, it's hard to estimate the time. I will not be on Discord and Dragons tonight, but you should definitely all go and watch it over on Yiz the Unix channel. It's going to be a smashing time. I don't know who's on. I think Kiz is on, a couple of other people. 3 of 12. Check it out. I will be back on Thursday, bros, for another Habbening and then Empire of Lies afterwards. Let's have a quick goodbye to people in the chat. Rumble, Jay, Chiva Loophole, Yiz the Eunuch, Crisby13, Ivan the Horrible, Fox39, Forever, Livy Drusilla, of course, Total Blackout Painting, Saturday Sapiente, Cthulhu Loves You, Hayes Reviews, thanks for coming along, man, even though you didn't get to see much. Ivan the Horrible, I think that's everybody. On YouTube, we have Budgie Burger, Streaky Bacon, Janice, Total Blackout Painting, Simon JJ, thanks very much for the super chat, mate. Lomax, hit me up on Discord, Lomax. Charlie Reedy, Nameless One, Total Blackout Painting again. I think that's everybody. If there's anybody I missed, I apologize. I think that's everybody. And on Odyssey, we have Smack Your Apocalypse, Tasia, Kay, I think Speak Your Mind. Lovely to see you all, guys. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you on Thursday. Take care, everyone, and have a great week. Goodbye, bros.